Our story today begins in the heart of a medieval town, where the morning sun creeps in golden ribbons through shutters that have not yet been opened. Somewhere, behind a row of timber-framed houses, in a small upstairs chamber, warmed by the embers of last night's fire, lies a woman named Isolde. Relax now. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Let your breath deepen, slowly, in and out. Notice how the air feels on your skin, soft and still, as if the world has decided to hold you for just a little longer. Your eyes may close if they haven't already, and with each gentle breath, you can imagine yourself in another time. A time of cobblestone streets and candlelit rooms, where the air carries the faintest scent of wood smoke and baking bread from the baker's early oven. She is not noble, nor peasant, but something in between, a woman whose livelihood comes from the whispered exchanges of the night. In this century, her place in the world is both hidden and woven into the fabric of the city's life. For, in the medieval mind, the brothel was not only a house of sin, but also a place that the town's laws quietly allowed. Believing it kept greater chaos at bay, she stirs, slowly, under a blanket patched from many hands' work. The mattress beneath her is filled with straw, rustling faintly as she turns. Outside her small window, the bells of the cathedral begin their first call, echoing in a deep, soothing toll across the rooftops. Each tone seems to ripple into the room, mingling with the sigh of the fire as it dies into warm ash. Isolde rises, her bare feet meeting the cool wood planks. She moves with the slow grace of someone used to both long nights and quiet mornings. In the corner, a simple basin of water waits, and she splashes her face, feeling the chill wake her skin. In these times, water is precious heated water, even more so she savors the freshness, inhaling the faint mineral scent of the well it came from. Her work is not yet to begin again. The day belongs to small routines. A comb made of bone, smoothed over years of use, glides gently through her hair. She hums softly to herself a melody she once heard from a traveling bard who sang of lovers meeting under a walnut tree. It is a tune without hurry, a thread of sound weaving through the stillness of the room. Far below, in the street, carts creak past, their wooden wheels rolling over the uneven stones. A baker's boy calls out the first loaves, and the faint scent of yeast and warm crust drifts upward, mingling with the faint perfume still lingering from the night before. Her day is slow to bloom, and for now, she simply sits at the window, watching the light grow softer, warmer, letting the minutes pass like leaves drifting on a quiet stream. And as the town begins to stir, Isolde leans her elbows on the worn wooden sill, feeling the smoothness where countless mornings have polished it. The rooftops glow with that tender, honeyed light only early sun can bring, washing the chimneys, the weathered beams, and the air itself in a pale warmth. In the market square below, merchants begin to set out their wares: bolts of wool, dyed with madder root, barrels of salted herring, baskets of apples, whose skins shine like polished copper. Isolde watches without judgment, her gaze soft and unfocused, letting the details melt together into the hum of life. It is here, in these quiet, unclaimed hours, that she finds her deepest calm. Life in the medieval city is rarely silent. There are always bells, hooves, laughter, and clatter. But there is a rhythm to it, a steady heartbeat of sound that wraps around her like a familiar blanket. It reminds her that she is part of something bigger, a web of lives, all moving, breathing, and working in the same small corner of the world. She draws the shutters closed again, letting the room dim. The faint scent of beeswax candles clings to the air. Mingled with dried lavender, she keeps in a small cloth pouch near her bed. Lavender. She descends the narrow staircase, her fingers trailing along the smooth, cool stone of the wall. The steps creak faintly, as if remembering the weight of countless feet before hers. When she reaches the street, the morning air greets her brisk and faintly scented with damp earth from the night's dew. The cobblestones glisten where the sun has not yet dried them. A cart rumbles past, pulled by a pair of patient oxen, their breaths steaming into the crisp air. Somewhere to her left, a woman sells hot oatcakes from a griddle, the soft hiss and crackle carrying in the stillness. Isolde pauses to buy one, the warmth seeping through the small piece of cloth used to wrap it. She takes a slow bite, the oats a hearty, touched with a whisper of honey, and chews with unhurried ease as she continues toward the market. The market square is waking fully now. Brightly dyed cloths hang in the breeze, fluttering like gentle waves. The smell of smoked fish mingles with that of fresh apples, herbs, and warm bread. She moves through the stalls, her shawl pulled close, exchanging polite nods with those she knows. In this place, her profession is no secret, but neither is it spoken of directly. There is a mutual understanding in the silence. She stops at the thread seller's booth, running her fingertips over spools of crimson, indigo, and pale gold. She chooses a deep green, the color of moss after rain. As she pays, the seller mentions, in a quiet voice, that the minstrel from the next town will be playing tonight in the tavern. The thought plants itself in her mind not as an obligation, but as a small gift the day may bring. From there, she lingers near the herbalist's stand, inhaling the sharp, clean scent of rosemary and the soft, earthy smell of dried chamomile. The herbalist speaks of remedies for sleeplessness, steeping chamomile flowers in warm milk, and for a moment, Isolde wonders if she might try it tonight, after the noise of the tavern fades. Her basket now lightly filled, she begins the walk home. The streets are warmer under the midday sun, and shadows shrink into the corners of doorways. She hears the distant rhythm of a hammer striking an anvil from the blacksmith's workshop, steady and sure, like a heartbeat for the town. When she reaches her building, she pauses just before the door, letting her eyes rest on the sky, an open sweep of pale blue, with only a few clouds drifting lazily above the rooftops. The air is still. The moment feels suspended, held in a quiet balance between the hum of life and the gentle promise of rest yet to come. She steps inside, her feet light on the wooden boards. The day will turn toward evening soon, and with it, the other half of her life will begin. Back in her room, the air feels cooler, shaded from the sun. She sets the basket on her small table and draws the green thread from it, running the smooth fibers between her fingers. It feels strong, lasting, and she imagines the hours it will take to stitch the new kerchief she has in mind. She sits at the edge of her bed, taking off her shawl, folding it carefully. In this life, small acts of care, folding cloth, mending seams, polishing a simple cup, are more than chores. They are anchors. They keep her steady in a world that can shift quickly, sometimes without warning. From the street below, the faint sound of a hurdy-gurdy drifts upwards, tones slow and wandering, like a lullaby spun from wood and string. She closes her eyes, letting the melody wash over her, feeling its steady wheel turn through her chest, as if it were part of her own breath. This is how she rests in the hours before work, not in silence, but in the comfort of familiar sounds. When the music fades, she rises to fetch water from the shared pump in the courtyard. The pump's handle is smooth from years of hands, and the water splashes into her clay jug with a deep, hollow echo. She cradles it on her walk back, the cool weight of it swaying gently against her hip. Once inside, she pours a little into a basin, washing her hands, then her face, feeling the freshness ripple through her like a breeze. The sun begins to tilt, slanting golden light across the floorboards. Shadows stretch and soften, and with them, her pace changes. The transition from day to evening is gradual, yet she feels it in her bones, like the slow turning of a wheel toward its next spoke. She lays out her garments for the night. In this time, the fabrics are simple, but chosen with care, deep colors that flatter in the glow of lanterns. Laces that tie with a whisper. She threads the green ribbon she bought that morning through the neckline, its color catching in the amber light. On the small shelf by her bed sits a wooden box, worn at the edges. Inside are a few keepsakes, a pressed flower from a summer long past, a coin with a hole drilled through it, a tiny scrap of parchment with a poem copied in careful script. She touches each one in turn, not to dwell in memories, but to remind herself of her place in the stream of moments that she has lived through many days. and we'll live through many more. Outside, the tavern's first lanterns flicker to life, their flames trembling in the dusk. Laughter carries faintly on the air, mingled with the clinking of mugs and the shuffle of boots on wooden floors. Isolde takes one last slow breath in the quiet of her room, letting it fill her completely. Before she steps into the evening air,